Good morning, children. Today we will start chapter 8, Silk Road, written by Nick Middleton from our textbook, that is Hornbull. Children, chapter number 7, the adventure, it is deleted from our syllabus. So we will start the 8th chapter, Silk Road. This chapter is actually the story. It is about writers' travel to Mount Kailash, which is located on the border of Tibet and China, and from here originates Lake Mansarovar, and which is a source of water for many rivers. Means many other rivers also get water from this Mansarovar lake. And why this chapter is named as Silk Road? Actually, it is the Silk Route. It is a route. It is a trade route actually, which connected the east and the west, means which connected the Europe with Asia from 2nd century to 18th century, and it made the trade possible. And generally the trading was done of silk, which was produced or which was made in China. So trading of silk was done on that route, and that's why this road is known as Silk Road. It is actually a trade route, we can say, which links the east and the west. So let's start and read it out and find out the journey. A flawless half moon floated in a perfect blue sky on the morning we said our goodbyes. A flawless means a perfect. Children, actually moon has many different positions, we can say. Sometimes there are two times when half part of it is dark and half of this is bright, and so that half moon means when one part is dark and one part is bright, and the bright part was visible at that time. So a perfect half moon floated in a perfect blue sky on the morning we said our goodbyes. So when the writer has started its journey, he's talking about that very early morning, and it was near about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, when they can still see the half moon in the sky. The sky was very clear, and then at that time they started their journey and they bade goodbye to their friends. Extended banks of cloud like long French loaves glowed pink as the sun emerged to splash the distant mountain tops with a rose tinted blush. Extended banks of cloud like long French loaves. French loaves means, children, you always eat bread generally in your breakfast. So actually we get the pieces, the bread loaves, we get it into pieces. There are 17 to 18 or near about 20 pieces of bread. Different slices are there. But when it is baked, it is one complete loaf. So here the sky is compared, the clouds that are there in the sky, they are compared with long French loaves. The shape of the cloud at that time, it was like a long loaf of bread and glowed pink as the sun emerged. And at that time the sun is about to rise. हल्की हल्की सूरज की किरणें भी दिखाई दे रही थी. So the clouds and the sunlight was falling on the clouds, so it was giving a pinkish color to the clouds to splash the distant mountain tops with a rose tinted blush. Or जो the far away mountain tops, they, on that also the sun rays were falling, and they were giving the mountain tops a natural rose color, हल्का गुलाबी सा. जब when the sun rises, it is हल्की गुलाबी मध्यम सी रोशनी होती है उसकी. वो रोशनी जो है, वो सूरज की किरणें, जस्ट उगते हुए सूरज की किरणें जो है माउंटेन की टॉप्स पर भी गिर रही थी, और दैट वाज गिविंग देम अ tinted blush, means they were shining, and the shine was of, you can say it was of pinkish color, rose color से वो shine कर रही थी. Now that we were leaving Ravu, it's the name of the place from where the narrator is living, from where the writer is living. Lamo is a girl. said she wanted to give me a farewell present. So when the writer he was saying goodbye to his friends, a girl was there, Lamo, she was also the writer's friend. She said that she wanted to give him a farewell present. One evening, I had told her through Daniel that I was heading towards Mount Kailash to complete the Korah, and she had said that I ought to get some warmer clothes. So the narrator now remembered that one day he had told the girl through Daniel. Daniel is one of his friends, and he is from Tibet. Same, he's a guide from Tibet. So from Daniel, the girl has come to know that the narrator is going towards Mount Kailash to complete the Korah. Korah is, you can say, it's a परिक्रमा. जैसे हम लोग मंदिर में जा कर के हम मंदिर के बाहर वो जो शिवलिंग होता है या मंदिर का जो एक मतलब यू कैन से हम अपनी पूजा करने के बाद जो चक्कर लगाते हैं जिसे हम परिक्रमा बोलते हैं, वो परिक्रमा, दैट इज़ कोरा. तो जब व्हेन द नरेटर told this girl Daniel that he's going towards Kailash to complete that Korah, then she had told him that since there is very cold, so the writer would need some warm clothes. ये बात उस लड़की ने नरेटर को कही थी. And after ducking back means going inside and then coming out into her tent, she emerged carrying one of the long-sleeved sheepskin coats that all the men wore. Satan sized me up as we clambered into his car. Ah, yes, he declared, Robka, sir. So the girl, Daniel, she went inside her tent, and then she came back. She was having a long-sleeved a coat that was made from sheepskin, and it was very warm because the narrator is going at a place that is very cold and he would need some warm clothes there. So that farewell present was that long coat which was made of sheepskin, and generally all the people, those who lived there, they wore that coat. So she has brought that coat as a farewell present to the writer. It is Satan sized me up. Sized me up means to give a look from top to bottom, मतलब कि ऊपर से नीचे तक attentively किसी को देखना. So he looked at him, and as we clambered means to get into the, or to move or climb awkward, in a awkward way. जब उन्होंने जो उसकी कार में वो बैठे, the writer and his friend, Satan was the driver there. So he gave a look to the writer, and then means first he looked at him and he saw the writer wearing that coat, that warm coat which was made of sheepskin, and then at that time he observed him from top to bottom, and when they entered into his car he said, Drobka, sir. Drobka, it is a Tibetan word which means shepherd. So now the narrator or the writer, he was looking like a shepherd by wearing that coat. So that's why the driver, that was Satan, he called him Drobka. We took a shortcut to get off the Shangtang. Satan knew a route that would take us southwest, almost directly towards Mount Kailash. So now they came out from that place. They took a shortcut to cover the place that was Shangtang, from where they have started their journey, because Satan, he was a driver, and Satan knew a very short way to southwest, and that way would directly take them towards the Mount Kailash. It involved crossing several fairly high mountain passes, he said. Then he said, sir, it is a shortcut, but we will have to cross many high mountain passes. He said, but no problem, sir, he assured us. If there is no snow, what was the likelihood of that, I asked. Not knowing, sir, until we get there. He said, sir, no problem, we have to cross the mountain passes, but no problem. If there will be no ice, or if the mountains will not be covered with snow, then there will be no problem. Then the writer asked him, what are the chances of getting snow there? Then he said, sir, I have no idea right now, and this can be known only when we will reach those mountain passes. From the gently rolling hills of Ravu, the shortcut took us across vast open plains with nothing in them except a few gazelles that would look up from nibbling the arid pastures and frowned before bounding away into the void. Children, you can see the picture. A sketch of mountain Kailash is given here. And see, there are so many small mountains, and actually these from the gently rolling hills. Gently rolling hills means a hill whose top is not so steep. मतलब जिसकी चढ़ाई या ये कह सकते हो टॉप बहुत ज़्यादा एकदम खड़ी ना हो, तो एंड इट इज़ वेरी इजी टू पास थ्रू दोज माउंटेन्स. जिनकी माउंटेन टॉप एकदम सीधी नहीं होती, थोड़ी सी फ्लैट होती हैं, दैट इज़ नोन एज they are known as the rolling hills, whose slopes they are not very steep. So from those hills of Ravu, the shortcut took us across. The shortcut which they had taken, they took them to the open plain, and in those open plains there were only a few gazelles, and that would took up from nibbling. Gazelle is, you can say, it's a wild animal there, rather not wild, means it is not so much harmful. Or you can say it's a mountain deer, which is not harmful to the human beings. So the gazelles, they looked like deer, they are mountain deers, and they were, that would look up from nibbling the arid pastures. Arid pastures means the land which is covered with grass, which was not so much green, rather it was a dry. Arid means dry. And frown before bounding away into the void. So after crossing that, they came to the vast open plain that they were very open place, that was open place, and it was having dry grass, and the mountain deers, they were eating. Nibbling means they were eating that grass, and sometimes they become angry also, and then they run away into the void. Bounding means they just disappeared. They ran away into far place. Void is actually emptiness. So after eating that dry grass, these mountain deers, they ran away. They ran very far away and they disappeared. Further on, where the plains became more stony than grassy, a great herd of wild ass came into view. And when they further moved on, the plains means the plain area that earlier that was grassy, now it was showing more stones. थोड़ा सा पथरीला रास्ता शुरू हो गया था. And they saw a great herd of, a big group of wild ass, wild donkeys. They were coming. मतलब बहुत दूर से उन्हें दिखाई दिया कि एक donkeys का पूरा एक herd जो है, पूरा group जो है आ रहा था. Satan told us we were approaching them long before they appeared. Then Satan told them कि हम उन्हें बहुत समय से ही बहुत दूर से हमें वो दिखाई दे रहे थे. हमें थोड़ा सा दिखने से पहले, मतलब दे वर कमिंग फ्रॉम वेरी फार अवे, और अभी हमें उन्हें का थोड़ा सा व्यू दिखाई दिया. ही एंड व्हेन दे अपीयर्ड, ही सेड क्यांग. क्यांग, इट इज़ अ वाइल्ड एस in Tibetan language. So these wild ass or these wild donkeys in Tibet language, in Tibetan, they are known as Kyang. He said, pointing towards a far off pall of dust. Pall of dust means, you can say, a roll of rolling dust. Means वो इतनी ज़्यादा झुंड में आ रहे थे कि and when they were moving all together, एक धूल का गुब्बारा सा पीछे से उड़ता हुआ दिखाई दे रहा था. When we drew near, I could see the herd galloping en masse, wheeling and turning in tight formation as if they were practicing maneuvers on some predetermined course. And when the writer saw that herd galloping means they were in a group, among, en masse means among. So they were in a group and they were so close to each other. Sometimes they were turning, they were moving forward, and they were moving like as if they are practicing. Maneuvers is a series of movements. So they were all together walking, and it seemed as if they are practicing some course. जैसे रंगरूट होते हैं ना, कि वो एक जब उनकी प्रैक्टिस करवाई जाती है तो बिल्कुल एक लय ताल में उनके पाँव की आवाज़ सुनाई देती है. तो सो द वाइल्ड एस, दे वर ऑल्सो कमिंग लाइक दैट इन अ ग्रुप. दे वर सो tightly held with each other, and it seems, and the way they were moving, it seems as if they were practicing some course. Plumes of dust billowed into the crisp, clean air, and plumes is a cloud. So dust means filled with air, billowed means filled with air. Since when they were in a large number and when they were walking all together, then the whole air which was clear earlier, the whole clear air, it was filled with dust. पूरा जो है साफ सुथरी जो पहले हवा थी वो एक डस्ट के गुब्बारे से जैसे भर गई थी. As hills started to push up once more from the rocky wilderness, we passed solitary rock bars tending their flocks, and when the hills were over and when they moved from the rocky wilderness, means it was a very busy area. Wilderness means, sorry, it's bushy area, means अब जो है जो वो पथरीला सा जो रास्ता था, जो बुशी एरिया था, दे क्रॉस दैट एंड वी पास सोलिटरी रोकबाज. रोकबाज आर द शेफर्ड्स. दे वर टेंडिंग देयर फ्लॉक्स. दे वर जस्ट मतलब कि वो अपने जो कैटल थे उनको चरा रहे थे. वहाँ पे शेफर्ड्स थे जो वहाँ के. एंड समटाइम्स मैन, समटाइम्स मैन वर देयर, समटाइम्स वेमेन. दीज वेल रैप्ड फिगर्स would pause and stare at our car, occasionally waving as we passed. तो जब उनकी कार वहाँ से गुजर रही थी तो जो शेफर्ड्स थे जिनमें लेडीज़ भी थी, जेंट्स भी थे, एंड दे हैव worn that proper dress which they people used to wear, and they would stop there and they would look at their car, and sometimes they wave their hand also to greet them. When the track took us close to their animals, the sheep would take evasive action, veering अवे फ्रॉम द स्पीडिंग व्हीकल. और जब उनकी कार जो है उनके उन एनिमल्स के पास आ रही थी तो वो जो शीप जिन्हें वो चरा रहे थे वो समटाइम्स दे जस्ट टुक इवेसिव एक्शन, मीन्स सडन. दे जस्ट took some sudden action. Veering away means they turning away. They change their direction suddenly from the speeding vehicle to get away from that speeding vehicle. तो एकदम से जैसे डर के जैसे होता है ना कि अचानक से वो अपनी डायरेक्शन को चेंज कर रही थी शीप. We passed nomads' dark tents pitched in splendid isolation. Isolation is alone place. Usually with a huge black dog, a Tibetan mastiff standing guard. So they passed the shepherds' dark tents. उन्होंने देखा कि वहाँ पे उन shepherds के कहीं कहीं दूर दूर जो हैं बड़ी दूरी पर जो है उनके बड़े शानदार से डार्क टेंट्स थे. और जनरली उन टेंट्स के साथ एक बहुत ही बड़ा ह्यूज ब्लैक डॉग जिसे तिब्बतन मैस्टिफ का नाम दिया उन्होंने. वो क्योंकि जनरली आप देखना जब भी शेफर्ड्स वगैरह होते हैं उनके साथ एक कुत्ता ज़रूर होता है. वाई and that acts as a guard. He was a standing guard there. And why it is so? Actually, in order to protect their cattle from the wild animals like lion and tiger, they always keep a huge black dog with them. वो कुत्ता उनकी सेफ्टी के लिए होता है जो उनके जानवरों को जंगली जानवरों के खाने से बचाता है. These beasts would cock their great big head when they became aware of approach and fix us in their sights. कह रहा है कि और ये जो बीस्ट थे मीन्स जो डॉग थे वो एकदम से अपने एकदम स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड वो लुक रहे थे. दे बिकेम वेरी एक्टिव. जब उन्हें ये पता चलता कि हाँ कोई गाड़ी की या किसी चीज़ की उन्हें आवाज़ सुनाई दे रही थी और वो अपनी नज़रें उसके ऊपर टिका लेते थे. दे फिक्स देयर साइट्स ऑन दैट एज वी कंटिन्यू टू ड्रॉ क्लोजर. और जैसे जैसे राइटर की गाड़ी उनके पास जा रही थी दे वुड एक्सप्लोड इन टू एक्शन. दे विल सडनली कम इन टू एक्शन एंड दे रन वेरी फास्ट स्पीडिंग डायरेक्टली टूवर्ड्स इट. और वो कार की तरफ भागना शुरू कर देते थे. लाइक अ बुलेट फ्रॉम अ गन एंड नियरली एज फास्ट. और वो इतनी तेज़ी से भागते थे उस स्पीडिंग कार की तरफ जैसे कि किसी बंदूक से गोली चली है या उससे भी तेज. चिल्ड्रन, आई थिंक इट इज़ क्लियर टू यू. दिस मच इज़ एनफ फॉर टुडे. दैट्स ऑल. हैव अ गुड डे.